Dear class of 2021, families and friends, my name is Anja Wanner. I'm the chair of the English department, and I welcome you to this online celebration of the class of 2021. Our keynote speaker is Professor David Zimmerman, Associate Chair and Director of Undergraduate Teaching and Learning. We also offer congratulations from our distinguished alum, André de Shields, Broadway superstar, who is also this year's commencement speaker. You will also find a slideshow with pictures and notes from fellow students, as well as your professors, and a program with the names of all graduates and award winners. To our students, congratulations. You did it. You're graduating from a world-class university with a degree in English that tells everyone that you know about the power of language, the potency of stories, the value of well-written arguments, and the need to see the world through someone else's experience. You've studied with the very best teachers. No department at UW-Madison has more teaching award winners than the English department. You've learned from award-winning scholars and writers, as well as from your peers, to think critically, to develop original arguments, and to act with empathy. And you form friendships with students who are as curious and committed as you are, but who may come from a very different background. Some of you come from Badger families and always knew that one day you would study for your exams on Bascom Hill or sit on the Union Terrace to watch the sunset. Some of you came here from another country or are first-generation students, like myself, who could not take any of this experience for granted. Some of you found it easy to make this campus their home, and some of you had to work hard to have their voices heard. We're so glad that you did. All of you spent your senior year in a world that, to adapt a quote from Hamlet, is out of joint. In the midst of a pandemic and an often painful national discussion of social and racial injustice, you spent 3 semesters in great uncertainty and turmoil. Many of you had to take care of family and community members and could not always put their studies first. And classes looked very different from what you had signed up for. But in the midst of this great uncertainty, you showed grace and commitment and resilience. And now you're graduating. You've earned this degree, and you've earned a celebration. Class of 2021, we are so very proud of you. Congratulations to you and your families, and please stay in touch.
My name is David Zimmerman, and I'm the Associate Chair of the English Department and the Director of Undergraduate Studies. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Celebration of English Graduates, Pandemic Edition. Congratulations, graduates, and congratulations, families. Today's a day of celebration, but I want to tell you why it's also a sad day for me and my colleagues. Graduates, we'll miss you. Over the last several years, we've come to know many of you really well. In each class you've taken with us, we've spent dozens of hours with you in close conversation about literature, ideas, language, and your own writing. In some cases, if you include office hours and the time we've spent talking with you about your remarkable essays and creative writing and thesis projects, we've spent 60 hours with you, maybe more. We're proud of how you've grown as thinkers, writers, and readers. We're especially proud of your resilience and grace in the face of the challenges and disappointments created by the COVID-19 pandemic. The challenges include the closing of campus and the shift to remote learning last spring and this year. For many of you, the challenges went deeper. They included losing your jobs and struggling to keep yourself and your family safe and solvent. I know you're disappointed at not being able to graduate with your friends and classmates on campus. The last year and a half also included protests against racial injustice that galvanized the nation. For many of you, your commitment to justice and your outrage and your hope energized those protests. You helped prompt a national reckoning with the long and enduring history of racism in America. Today is a commencement, a day of beginning. It's a day when we face forward. But I want you for a moment to think back to when you decided to come to the UW. You came from tiny high schools and gigantic ones, some of you confident, some of you nervous. You came with different ideas about what you wanted to study and what you wanted out of college. And from this scatter of backgrounds and interests, you all decided to become English majors. And as English majors, you became a dynamic community, even on Zoom. You exchanged ideas in your classes, read each other's writing, worked together on journals and magazines, dropped your jaws at the same staggering poems, wrestled with complex social issues, and took intellectual risks together. And you learned a ton. Think about all you know now that you didn't know 4 or however many years ago. Think about all you can do now that you couldn't do 4 years ago. What good is an English major? You learned how to write and speak effectively. You learned how to interpret and engage complex cultural questions. You learned how to understand other people's perspectives so that you can collaborate with people who have different experiences than you. You learned how to identify and question assumptions, including your own, and to reflect on your methods of reasoning and arguing. You learned words you never imagined existed, like post-human and counter-hegemonic. Some of you coined words for concepts you created. In thinking about our good fortune in having had you as majors, and in thinking about your good fortune in graduating as UW English majors, I thought about fortune cookies and how there are 3 kinds of fortune you might get when you break open the cookie. One is a description of you, sometimes incredibly detailed. You enjoy training falcons. Okay. Another is a prediction for you, also recklessly specific. You will run into an old friend wearing a leotard. It's not clear whether you or the old friend will be the one wearing the leotard. And a third kind of fortune is a maxim, a pithy statement about life. If you are afraid to shake the dice, you will never throw a 6. Okay. I thought I'd end this congratulation address by giving you your fortunes, courtesy of the English department. They're slightly longer than the average fortune, so you have to imagine very large cookies to house them. First, the description. You imagine richly. You see language as magic, magic as power, and power as possibility. For you, words matter. They make the world. Second, the prediction. You will be the one in your company who writes all the reports. You will reread a Shakespeare play for the fun of it. You will see life as poetry, story, essay, and play. If you've been my student, you will come across a muted post horn spray painted on a wall in a foreign town, and you'll send me a photo of it. And third, the pithy truism. English majors may not save the world, but they make the world worth saving. Congratulations, English majors, and congratulations, families, on raising such skilled, motivated, curious, committed, resilient, and yes, employable students. They are our future in every sense, and this should give us all hope. Graduates, we'll miss you. Please stay in touch. Send us emails, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and let us know what you're up to. If in the coming years you can support the department or mentor upcoming English majors in any way, please do. The support and mentorship provided by English alumni is crucial for the success of our students. Congratulations again, graduates, and thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good evening. My name is André and I have a message for the English graduates of 2021. I understand that more than 100 of you, lovers of language, linguistics, literary studies, and creative writing, are preparing to enter your postgraduate world. You are ready to find a job. May I caution you, don't just look for a job. Instead, look for that horizon that's waiting for you to discover it. Look for that mystery that's waiting for you to decode it. Look for that treasure that's waiting for you to uncover it. And look for that mystery that's waiting for you to have it unfold. I hope you have a beautiful life, and always know that with your unique powers, with your incomparable education from one of the world's finest institutions, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, you can be sure that your destiny will rise up to meet you. I look forward to crossing paths with you. Thank you, and good night.
Hello, class of 2021 English majors. Congratulations on this incredible achievement. We are so excited to celebrate everything that you have accomplished. You've been given a lot of challenges over the past year, in addition to any challenges you might have already been facing. It is incredible that you've managed to get to this point, and we are really excited to celebrate you. I hope you'll take time to celebrate with your friends, your family, recognize your accomplishments, take a deep breath, and appreciate everything that you've done. You've earned it. Congratulations, and on Wisconsin.
Hey there, class of 2021 English majors. I am so proud of you. I have had the great pleasure of having a number of you in my courses over the years, and it's super exciting to think about you graduating this semester. I also realized that we made a big deal last year. The class of 2020 would be the ones who were graduating in a pandemic, and we'll never forget. And now here you are, class of 2021. You made it through the entire last year plus of your schooling during a pandemic. And that is so impressive and also so hard. So I imagine you might be exhausted. That would make good sense. I hope you are also proud and excited to celebrate your accomplishment. I think you are all fantastic, and I wish you huge amounts of success into the future. I also hope that you stay in touch with us because we love to hear all the wonderful things you are doing into the future. So take care, be safe, be proud. We are very proud of you. Bye.
Hello, English department graduates. My name is Emily Hall, and I just want to say I am so proud of what you've accomplished in this past year. You've had to navigate so many challenges, and you've persevered. You've built new skill sets, you've acquired new knowledge, and you've demonstrated leadership and care for one another. I truly admire you. As English majors, you've learned how to think critically, how to deeply analyze your world, and how to write. Remember, if someone asks you, what will you do with that English major? That these strengths and skills will be an asset in any profession you choose. Remember to leverage these skills as you pursue your future plans. You can do anything. So congratulations, and on Wisconsin.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. You've accomplished much, and you have a lot more to do. And while you're out and about, don't forget that life is like a chi-square test. Constantly check reality versus your expectations. This will help you handle variation like a pro, not just language variation, but all the variation around you. Again, congratulations on your accomplishments and my warmest wishes, whatever lies ahead, or that lays ahead. Let me look. Because COVID, you can never find a good grammarian around here.
Congratulations, class of 2021. I'm Dr. Wood, and I'm so happy to celebrate you on this wonderful achievement. It is no small thing to finish college in a normal year, much less in a global pandemic. So I hope that you take time to celebrate. I hope you take time to rest and recover. You've certainly earned it. Over the years that you've been here, you have watched our country go through some really terrible sorrows, and many of you have suffered for it. We have protested together. We have talked ourselves blue in the face. We have cried about the state of the world. And I know that that can seem overwhelming, but I want to talk to you just a little bit today about how I still have hope. I still have hope because I see my children growing up and asking good questions. I still have hope because I work with all of you and I see so much energy and enthusiasm, so much love and joy. Your work is insightful, it's caring, it's inquisitive, and it's generous. You have listened to each other. You listen to the writers that we study and how they choose their words to make an impact. You want a better world, and now it's your chance to go build one. I hope that we here have modeled the best ideals of our hopeful visions of a better world. We've had conversations on really difficult topics, standing up against sexism and white supremacy, working for rights for all people, and ultimately leading with love for one another. The community of our classrooms has been a really precious place where we have practiced how to inquire, how to be critical, how to stare into the face of things that trouble us, things that make us connected. And when we do that work together, we become linked. And in the work that I've seen you do, I've been so impressed by the level of vulnerability, honesty, and bravery that you have shown. And that's where I feel us most connected, by our common humanity. I hope that we in the English department can be part of your community still as you go forward to take your place in the world. You probably know that your learning doesn't end here. This is just one piece of your journey. You're going to keep reading, you're going to keep questioning and keep discussing. I want you to stay in touch and share your journey with me and with the other instructors who've had a small part in your learning. You don't have to have a reason to send an email. If you come back, look us up. We'd love to see you again. It has been a privilege getting to know so many of you over the years, and I wish all of you the very best.
Hello, fellow English majors. We made it. Today marks the end of our careers as undergraduate English majors at UW-Madison. Thank you to all the professors, advisors, TAs, writing fellows, house fellows, parents, and so many others who have been there for us these past years. We certainly would not be sitting at home on our laptops today without you. Well, maybe, but we certainly would not be listening to this. Being an English major is not always something we brag about. We mostly spend our days reading books, writing about books, or doing whatever the heck it is linguistic track students do. Some people think that our major is easy, themselves having never written a 12-page comparative essay on the works of Friedrich Nietzsche and Thomas Mann, or taken a course in Old English. We are also all familiar with the inevitable question that comes up at family gatherings. Would you like fries with that degree? Some of us might also know John Mulaney's immortal joke that he spent $120,000, yes, $120,000 to study a language he already speaks. Yet, even with all the commentary, I've always been proud to be an English major, especially at UW-Madison. Before the pandemic, Helen C. White was a home away from home. I spent many hours in the undergraduate English lounge, drinking tea and talking to friends instead of doing homework. We also all know of the crowded elevators at Helen C. White and the dizzying prospect of navigating Moss Humanities. Yet, upon arrival at our lectures, discussions, and workshops, we all knew it was well worth the hassle. My favorite part about being an English major on the literature track was all the different directions people chose to focus with the major. There are always the medieval studies students who took as many courses with Zweck, Foys, and Cooper as possible. They read Beowulf for fun and had half of the Canterbury Tales memorized in Middle English to show off their skills at parties. Then there were the Shakespeare stands. They all had a favorite play and a random sonnet memorized in case they ever needed to woo someone in early modern English. Additionally, there were the modernists, like myself, who enjoyed reading the longest books we could find and then complaining about the lengths of the books. Then there were the students who also studied contemporary English literature. They read nonstop during the week and were activists on the weekends. There are so many other foci I could mention, but that just speaks to the diversity of thought within the major. Apart from literature, there is also those who are on the creative writing track, the future authors and poets of the world. They were all working on a screenplay or a novel that would redefine the human experience. From what my friends on the track tell me, they all attended creative writing workshops where they spent hours feeling intimidated by one another. Of course, it is easy to write them off as idealistic, but they were the heart of the major. I have no doubt that among those graduating today, we will be reading many of their writings in the future. I also want to give a shout out to all the linguistic track students and all their foci, all the future sociolinguists, dialectologists, psycholinguists, computational linguists, historical comparative linguists, and of course, everyone's favorite, the applied linguists. And yes, I Googled all of that because I have no idea. There is no one experience as an English major at UW-Madison. Many of us were double majors with other humanities departments, while still others doubled with STEM fields. However, all of us shared a common love for words, even with the knowledge of their limitations. We strive to use words in new ways to create better futures. Although I am going to miss being an English major at UW-Madison, I'll always be an English major at heart. Through my love of language and literature, I've lived 1,000 lives, reading the words of people from all different times, places, and experiences. So now, on this day of celebration, I encourage everyone to never stop carrying their passion that brought them here today. Keep on reading, writing, and thinking. The world needs English majors now more than ever.
Congratulations, graduates. We did it. It wasn't easy. It was hard in the typical ways. Every all-nighter in college library and trying desperately to learn just enough Old English to pass 241 and having to watch us lose the Rose Bowl again. And our college experience was hard in some uniquely tragic ways. We spent our 4 or 5 years of college in the midst of one of the most divisive political cycles our nation has seen in decades. We see constantly the violent racism that plagues our community. Mass shootings have become so frequent and so fatal. And almost 3 semesters of our Wisconsin experience have been spent in a global pandemic. We've watched COVID take our junior year, our senior year, and well over 500,000 lives in the United States alone. I have never been more proud of myself, as well as my peers, for the massive accomplishment that is finishing college in the midst of all of this. But also, we know that this adversity hasn't just been during college. We have felt so much suffering and seen so much death in our first third of life. Our generation doesn't know what it's like to not be grieving or in fear. I don't remember a life where I wasn't heaving a constant sigh of lament for our world and our community. We, English majors, know how to tell the stories the world needs to hear to combat that suffering. And we will continue to use what we have learned here to observe, analyze, and write that groundbreaking work, because we didn't only watch hardship. We watched the admirable ways people responded to it. We watched powerful survivors like Allie Raisman and Dr. Blasey Ford challenge institutional abuse with their stories. We watched the loved ones of far too many Black and brown people murdered by police find strength to be the voices behind a movement. Our Go Big Read book this year was all about the survivors of the school shooting in Parkland and how the stories of those students educate and advocate for change. We continue to hear the painful stories of medical professionals having to care for COVID-19 patients. Slowly but surely shift into hopeful stories of those same doctors and nurses being able to give vaccines. UW-Madison was my first choice for college. I wanted nothing more than to be a Badger. And though it didn't get to be everything I imagined, I wouldn't trade it for anything, because it's the people that I have met in my time here. The English majors that will go on to share their stories that advocate for justice, that help me maintain hope. Not just toxic optimism, but real, tangible hope amidst the chaos. Like my friend who's taking his English degree onto law school. Well, he will work to put out the wildfires of injustice in our system. Or the authors that will write the plays, poems, and novels that shake the nation and make us critically question the way things are. and the students that will go on to be teachers, managing their classrooms with compassion and equity to raise the next generation of great leaders. I remind myself often that comedian and TV show writer John Mulaney majored in English. If you go on to make people laugh like him, you will have made the world a little happier place. It sounds cliche, but make one person smile and you're doing so much in that moment. I aspire to live in a world where we see a lot less death, where joy doesn't feel like a temporary placeholder between tragedies, where we are not just barely surviving, but also thriving. That work, class of 2021, continues with us, and there is a lot of it to do, but we do not do this work alone. We have been so supported by professors, TAs, and advisors, along with friends and families to get here. And here we are, with all that we have learned and accomplished, equipped for making equitable and sustainable change toward a world that values people over profit. We are ready. Congrats, Badgers. We did it. Be courageous and persevering in the stories you live and tell. Thank you.